kitty. Ollie. Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jen. Today we're going to be doing something a little different in this video. So I had originally started filming this video as a kind of showing y'all how I made this journal, these journals here, out of this just epic piece of cardboard shipping material that I had in a box that came. But it kind of more evolves into showing you all the things that you can do with materials that aren't art supplies or made for art journaling, that are just things you can repurpose, the mileage that you can get out of a lot of things, you know, like using your paper towels that you clean up with to make journaling cards, and using things that come in your cans of cat food, or, you know, index cards, things like that, and just where inspiration hits you when you least expect it out of things, and how just easy it can be to just make a little journal to play around in and have fun in, and just have something that you made. Yeah, it kind of starts off, like I say, as a kind of, here's what I'm going to make, let me show you, and then kind of, hey, look at all the things that you have around you already. You don't need anything fancy. You can do this. Alrighty, well, I hope y'all enjoy the video. As always, there'll be timestamps down below. And again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Let's get to it. I'm going to be making something. What are we going to call this? I don't know. But let me show you where it all started. How about that? We're going to be making things out of other things. So, this, oh, let me push these out of the way. That's from my magazine harvest. But this thing of beauty here, this actually came in a Chewy box that I ordered, where I get some of my cat food and stuff sometimes in between the layers. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. It's ginormous. I love it. And it just sparked all the things. And yeah, I just thought we'd create something out of something else. So my thought is, look at this. Like, fold it like this, and I think this would just make a wonderful, I can probably get 2 or 3 of them out of this, like one signature little stress journal. What y'all think? I'm kind of excited about it. And just to show y'all, you don't need fancy things to make art journal and stuff. Like, this is amazing. Although I have never seen a sheet like this. I'm just so excited. And I was going to, like, go ahead and cut it and just, you know, frou-frou up the outside. I don't know. I kind of like it plain, and I figure we'll just decorate it as we go if it's meant to be decorated, right? Now, I'm also thinking I may, because not everybody has access to, you know, random repurposed shipping supplies. What is that called? So I may do one out of a little mailing envelope too. It's a 9x12. I got a pack of 6 of these at the Dollar Tree years ago for $1. I don't know how much they are now, but yeah. And then that, like, sparked something. So that sparked me doing a magazine harvest, which I think is the previous video on this channel. And I did the magazine harvest, and it was like I had all this energy just waiting in me that I needed to create something. So then I made a whole bunch of pattern papers that I think are going to go in these journals. Look at this deliciousness. Like, I know I could flatten them out and do all that, but oh my gosh, like, I love it. Hopefully the audio is okay. I'm still trying to get it back to where it needs to be after Ollie just decided this microphone is his sworn enemy. But just these, we'll go through these in a second. But yeah, these, since I'm just going to be doing like stress journal style, and I'm not going to be doing like anything heavy on there, more like stickers and then little collage bits just glued, I wanted to try using computer paper. or printer paper or whatever the people call it now. I had a ream of, now this isn't the copy cheap paper like the really thin that I actually print on. This is 32 pound. I use that because I print my planner pages on that when I'm using my little ring binder planners, but I don't use it very often, so I'm like, I'm gonna try that, and for the most part it worked pretty good taking on these dies and stuff. There's a few places it ripped, and that kind of added to the deliciousness, and it like became wonderfully wavy and great. But I thought it'd just be fun to try, because how much more economical is that? And then I can save my mixed media pages for like the really hardcore stuff. And I just wanted to see kind of how these papers would take ink and stuff and make patterns. So this is just like, I guess, premium printer paper, 32 pound. I think I got a whole ream of it when I bought it a couple years ago for like $6-7, and you get however many pages are in a ream. Isn't it like 100 or 2? I don't know. But yeah, had fun doing these yesterday. Can you tell I've been like stress crafting? Like I talked about, I've been just having some things going on. I feel like all this like creative energy has just been like building up, and it was like bleh. And I rolled out my I have two like fold up plastic tables I usually keep put away, and I'm like, I'm rolling out the tables, y'all. We are doing papers. So I'll show y'all those in a minute, and then I'll show you these in a minute too. And then of course I had little ink left over, so I just took a bunch of index cards. That you can get a whole pack of index cards for what, like 80 cents. This is not even a pack. This is probably a quarter of a pack. Had little odds and ends of mixed media pages I've cut. And then this, my new license plate came in it. Tennessee, we didn't just have vehicle registration, we had new license plates. So I was like, why not? And you may see some of these have this dot pattern. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I actually used stuff from the Dollar Tree again. Let's see, we'll talk about you in a minute, but look at these trays. I picked these up ages ago at the Dollar Tree. You get 2 for $1. I don't know how much they are now, but I don't know what they're for. I picked them up to like lay projects on and do messy stuff like this. So I haven't decided if I'm going to actually like clean them or not, or just leave this mess in there and see how it evolves. I don't know. I got to figure out if the stuff in the bottom here is water reactive first, I guess. That will determine. But it's got this wonderful texture. This is from the kitchen section, like the roasting. I don't know. I guess this would be a cookie sheet, maybe. I don't know. But I put my dyes in here, sprayed some water down, wet the piece of paper and put it in here and just smushed it around and had fun. And then I took one of the cutting boards that you get 2 for $1 from there as well, and I use these a ton to put like in between glued stuff and just, you know, whatever. And so I took this and I was kind of smushing it, and then as I went along, this built up its own life here and made some really cool patterns. So smushing papers together, like I said, it just was like this explosion. I'm like, I want to get messy and create things. I got most of the ink off my hands, which was good. I had to take Eddie to the vet today, and I didn't care if I had purple hands. I'm off this week, who cares? But yeah, I had a lot of fun with these textures, the bottom there. So let's look at some of the patterns I got before I get to creating a little more. Oh, and then I have these. I saved my paper towels. Oh, this one's still a little damp. Let me lay that out. I saved my paper towels, which these are extra kind of funny because these were on clearance at the Dollar General or Family Dollar, one of them. They actually have like snowmen on them. They're like Christmas edition. I reckon they clean just as good. So these will be like extra kind of funny. But yeah, got those that I think I had a thought just before I started filming. Oh, I love this one. These pretty colors. to take, I have little bits of cardboard and maybe cut them like index card size and glue to it just to make some neat little textured cards for journals. And I think these can split into 2 layers, so I like this one too. So I'll have a lot to use. I don't know how I feel about the snowman being on there, but there he is. You can kind of see him. I didn't even know they still made pattern paper towels. I remember when that was like the biggest thing, when you're little and you got to go to the store and you got to pick what pattern on the paper towels you were going to buy. But yeah, I think these are going to be the pages in these journals. I don't know if I'll add anything else, but let me just show you some of the fun things I got. And these are just, I think I had spray inks, acrylic inks, and maybe some watercolors. I don't know. Just some things playing around, but I just love the different patterns. Oh, I had a roasting pan that had these little circles in the bottom too. So you see a little bit of those patterns. We'll just go through these quick. I did like that this paper dry. Oh, I love that one. Really quick. And if I was going to go to the trouble to, oh, I like this one. Take out all those tables and stuff. I think I did 2 batches altogether. I kind of lost my mojo after that. I love the way these dots do. I don't know, it gives me almost like a electronic-y vibe. Oh, I love that one. Oh, I love that one. So, oh, and that one. The different materials. I would like to someday, I don't know when I'll have time, but just to see how they interact with each other. Oh, yes, ma'am. Some of these I haven't seen because they kind of continue to evolve as they dry. And some of them I stacked up when they were still a little damp. Oh, I like that one because I wanted to go to bed. But I thought that they were dry enough not to stick. Oh, how fun. So, oh, and here's kind of the pattern you get smishing from that cutting board. It gives this almost like viney type thing. I know there's a name for it. Oh, I love that one. And that one. I thought I'd show y'all. You can do so much fun stuff. Like, you don't have to buy a whole bunch of papers and like, you know, and print them out and things. Oh, there's a real good example of that being smushed with the cutting board. It gives this almost like a leaf, like veins of a leaf. So I got an idea, and I don't know how much it is now. I want to try this with like food coloring or something. I don't know if it would behave the same way or if it would be as economical as finding like liquid inks on clearance. That's kind of how I got on mine. I waited till a bunch of them went on clearance, and now it is time to use them, right? I'm going to get a whole bunch of awesome journal pages out of those. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I just love it. Like, all these colors shouldn't go together, but it just, I don't know. I love it. It looks very like otherworldly to me. So yeah, just playing around. Some of these I barely did the backs when I started, and I was like, wait a minute, I can just smush all these together. And I love just getting in there, getting messy, doing stuff. You could even cut certain shapes out of this. Is that, Lord have mercy, my cat's been up here. There's like little bits of litter rocks. Wonderful. Y'all get to see the reality of having cats. They attack your microphones. They attack, ooh, I like that one. They leave little debris everywhere. It's wonderful. That pink, I just love. And you can play around whether you put the paper dry into the, like if you wet the paper and put it in, you get more of a watercolory effect. But if you put it in like dry, then you get more of these sharper shapes. Here's a place where it just ripped the crap out of this paper, which I like the effect for this type of journaling I intend to do. It'll work. But this paper definitely isn't as sturdy as like a mixed media or a watercolor paper, but I kind of like the rippedness of it, right? It don't bother me. I'm surprised though how well just printer paper did. Now I wouldn't want to paint on top of this or do any like heavy Mod Podging or, oh, there's some more rip, see, or anything like that. But I think for something like this, and where I'm just going to be adding small, like gluing, you know, small things to it and stickers and things, I think it's just fine. Plus some of these things are water reactive, so I wouldn't use this for something that I was, again, going to be painting on top of or putting more liquid. These I didn't even do the backs. These were some of the, let's see, it almost looks like a squid, but with little chicken legs. No, it's a turkey. There's the back feathers. There's little turkey legs, and you just need the, oh, there's kind of the gobble. See, abstract watercolor turkey. But yeah, those are some of the ones, and then just show you. I just had stuff, y'all see me, if I have like a little bit of paint left over or something, I always like to, you know, just have some scrap paper on hand. This is just when there was stuff left in the tray, and you just get that cool little dot effect. I mean, why not? You've already fooled around and got the stuff out. Anyway, let me get this litter off of here. Lord have mercy on me. Okay, we'll come by with our duster in a minute. I just wiped this table off like an hour ago, like real good. And then these are just plain old index cards. I won't show every one of them, but just to give you all an idea of a few. I think these will be fun to play around with in journals. I mean, just keep little bits of, you know, index cards, little bits of paper. And these are fun because one side's lined and one side ain't. You could even, if you want to just buy white cardstock and cut a bunch in random, you know, sizes and stuff just to have on hand. I would really like that one. But just something to add a little, like, visual interest. Gosh, I did a lot of these. Well, they were what was there beside the table at the time. But, okay, so now that I've showed you all that, what I'm going to do is a couple things. I'll probably do it off camera because it would just be, I've already went through and showed y'all a bunch of papers and stuff just for time. But I'm going to take this glorious piece of corrugation. Is that what it is? Corrugated cardboard. Just this. Oh my gosh. I could just sit here and do this. Y'all that are obsessed with paper, feel me, right? It's just, I'm a very tactile person to touch stuff. But I'm going to get this cut down to size because I'm going to be folding these glorious little nuggets here in half. And that's going to be our pages. I think I'm going to have to snip this. I thought about maybe doing like a thing over, but gosh, do I hate fooling with that. So I'm just going to cut this to size. I think I'll get at least, I think I'm going to get 2 full journals out of this and maybe a little journal. We'll see what happens. And we'll do that, and then I'll come back and also get the envelope ready. And I'll come back and we'll create our little journals. Alrighty, y'all, so I did end up getting 3 journals out of that sheet of whatever this wonderfulness of cardboard is. And I just scratched, I just came from outside, that's what that is. And I made 1 mailing envelope journal. I made a few other things I want to show y'all, and I still have a ton of these pages left. Look at this deliciousness. And there's just something so satisfying where these were just all the same size and I didn't have to hand cut them or anything. Like, they just all line up. It's just great. Just computer paper. And I just ended up making single signatures in these. So we're going to see how that goes. I did 13 full pages. So 13 actual like 8.5 by 11 pages in here, and I did 7 in here. So that makes what, 26 times 2, 52 actual journal pages. If we go 1, 2, 3, and then 28 in this one. Lord, I hope I did that math right. But this is kind of turning into a video, and I'll flip through these and show y'all in a minute. It's kind of turning into a video where I want to show y'all, maybe it'll give you some ideas where you don't have to have fancy journal supplies. You don't have to run onto Amazon or Etsy or wherever. If you want to, that's great. But you don't have to have all these fancy things. One of the big things that attracted me to art journaling to start with is that you don't really have to spend any money to do it. So let me show y'all a few other things. So I showed y'all my paper towels that I used to clean up the dye that I used, and I have just glued these. I don't know, am I a junk hoarder? Maybe. But I keep these. I have all my cats, y'all know, so I get cat food by the case. Especially the ones that have to have special cat food. And these always come, these bits of really thick, kind of, sort of like chipboard, but not really. In between, it's got this cool texture where the cat food sits on there. So I keep these, and I have just taken some regular old Elmer's glue all, and I've glued it to one side of this, and I'm just going to rip this off. I think it will create a neat texture. I'll do the other side eventually, probably, but I just want to show. So that's kind of fun. This is just, it's mostly dry, but this is straight up one layer. I did separate the layers of the paper towel on a piece of cardboard. Here I did the full sheet. I'm going to test this out. I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces in a moment and see if that works, because I was going to cut it already into smaller pieces and then glue it, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe I can save me a step. Isn't that just wonderful texture in the journal? Now, I didn't go over it with glue again, so I may have to. I don't know how hardy this is. I don't know if I care. And then I just tried on a piece of white cardstock. You can really see the snowman on this one. I mean, you can even save the tissues and the paper towels that you use to clean up, especially if you're cleaning up marker or paint, or in this case I used liquid dyes. I mean, you can get so much out of very little. And I'm actually going to chop these up right quick, like journal card size. So hold that thought. Ta-da! Alright. And I don't know, there's probably some standard journaling card type of size, but I just eyeballed it and cut whatever. But just get these fun little moments for tucks into, I love the texture on them, but little tucks into journals. I don't know what I'm going to do on the back. I may paint the back. I may use it as a place to write. I may stamp on the back. I do like these with the cardboard. I'm surprised actually showing through without painting it. But yeah, this is straight out of junk. And I kept the little snowman. I think this would be cute in my little winter themed stress journal perhaps. But look at that. And I have tons of that, those paper towels left too. So, and I don't know, we may find a use for this old stuff, huh? We'll see. But yeah, that's those. I did the bit where I cut off of these journals. I have these really cool, it was a little too long, so I had to cut a little bit. So wouldn't these be awesome? I mean, just think about the texture on something. You could combine it. You could just do some neat stuff with these. I don't know what it's going to be, but I just really like them. Might just be like a dry brushing of white paint on there. You could almost make it like rusticy looking. Then I have these where this journal's a little bit shorter. I have these where I cut off of those ink pages. Oh, these I'm going to go through, and some of these would just be wonderful, you know, bits to collage with. All kinds of fun stuff. You could keep it in a whole piece. Oh, look at that though. How fun is that? You could cut it in half. You could even, if you had a circle punch, go through here and punch out little circles, great. Like I said, you don't have to have fancy stuff. This is kind of what this video has turned into. Let's start with, let's just go off the rails here a little bit. Let me show you this journal because I'm kind of happy with it. I've never made one just out of a regular old melon envelope, and I've not decorated the outside of these at all because I'm thinking I will just find things and organically I will know what's going to go out on here. Like my dream is my hands are going to be like covered in paint or ink or glue or some type of texture paste. I'm just going to pick this up and like do something all over it. I don't know, or I'm just going to find something, I'll just glue it on there and it will just evolve as it's meant to evolve. I thought this was a really good idea. I've seen people make little journals out of these melon doohickeys before. I did one my winter stress journals in my like journal show and tell, but never just like this. So I took my pages I showed y'all with like my ink and stuff on them. I made a single signature. I didn't want it too thick because obviously I'm going to be doing stickers and collage and things in here. That's really important when you're building something. You need to think about what you're going to be doing in here, and that's going to dictate the materials you use, the thickness of things you use. Like if you want a journal that you're going to be watercoloring in or doing a lot of heavy painting and gesso and things like this, you want to use a paper appropriate to that, etc. and so forth, a binding appropriate to that that's going to hold up to moisture, whatever, you know, y'all know what I mean. But these come 6 for $1 from the Dollar Tree, or that's where I got them. Lord knows they're probably $10 now. And I just took this signature, and some people, like when you fold these over, the edges don't match up exactly, even though it's the same size of paper, and some people go through and really make it so it's exact. I enjoy the unevenness, and I just kind of eyeballed it, and I put a staple in to hold it in the middle, and it ended up being a little off center, but don't tell nobody. And then I just turned it over, staple, staple, staple. That's it. The only thing that limits you here is you need a stapler that's going to reach across there, or you can make 2 little holes that are the staple width. And you don't have to have anything fancy. If you got a needle, if you got a mechanical pencil you don't care about, you kind of stab it. And you can actually put the staple before it's bent, like when it's still in a U shape, through there, and then manually bend it over if you don't have a stapler that reaches far enough. But yeah, I mean, staple, staple, staple. I have this cool little pocket back here. I want to put some surprises in there, and then if I decide to on down the road, I could actually maybe steam this open and have another pocket here, or actually like cut the end so slightly and have an open pocket. I don't know that I like that. Looks like this will come up pretty easily, but so you have a little tuck pocket, and just a wonderful little journal that I'm excited to see what we're going to be doing things in, or what we're going to be doing in here. I know it's going to be like a stress journal style that I make, but interesting. And I just love these painted pages. You could do just regular old computer paper in there. You got old notebook paper. You got a planner that you know, there was a couple months in there you didn't end up using it. Use those planner pages. I mean, and I'll be interested to see how these staples hold up to, it will bulk up. So I also love the fact, I think this was, I swear it said 9 by 12, but it's got to be bigger, because I didn't have to cut this at all. Like, it fit these papers perfectly, which that might make sense, because if you fold 8.5 by 11 in half, half of 11 is 5.5, and if this is, okay, that makes sense. I had to think, and then yeah, so yeah, that's a good size. It's just a melon envelope, and we'll see kind of how it evolves. I think this would just be something fun that you can just make real quick and then get right to and just have fun with it. Gosh, some of these patterns I'm just obsessed with. I gotta do that again. It was just so fun, and it just got a lot of my stress out. So now let's look at these cardboard journals, right? They're pretty much all the same. Now I did end up, instead of stapling, I did stitch these just in a single 3-stitch pamphlet stitch. I have other videos where I've shown that, or it's really easy to look up, just because this was not level. I could have probably stapled it, probably, but I mean, as bad as I am about getting stuff straight, and I just kind of eyeballed it. I just made me a little jig, excuse me, and just made a single signature, and we're going to see how it bulks up. I did leave quite a little bit of extra hangover because I think it's going to bulk up quite a bit, and as it bulks up, I want it to have a little room to bulk up, if that makes sense, so it won't be just sticking out everywhere. And this is very floppy. I didn't do any hard creases in the cover, so it'll be interesting. But I just kind of went through. I didn't do anything on the back of that one, and I just picked out some of these patterns in here, and I just made signatures with it. And in the, what is that? Oh, it's like creased or something. And I just left a tail here. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that on down the road. Same here. I was going to mix different like book pages and stuff in here, but I kind of just, this kind of gives me a lot of peace right now, just having these grungy ink dyed type papers, and I just love the crunchy texture of the paper. And this one I cut the pages down, so it's the same thing, it's just a little shorter. And I was going to cut like these imperfections and stuff off, but I kind of love them, so we're going to keep them. This is one of my favorites right here. But yeah, just a whole bunch of different pictures, and I really like this size. This is akin to a B6, I think. And I didn't measure anything. I really love these computer pages because they're just all cut the same size and everything. It's just so, it just is pleasing to me. But yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with just some old computer paper, and you don't even have to have like new computer paper bought. You can just, you know, as stuff comes in, as long as it ain't nothing important like this. It's kind of curling, ain't it? This, my new license plate came in, and this will be fun. This has a double pocket, so it had my registration in the front, and then my license plate in the back. So this is going to be fun when it's made to put in the journal. Oh, and it's got a little window. Super fun. And like I showed earlier, we got just index cards to just sop up that you know, ink that was down. And if you don't have ink, I mean, markers, pencils, anything. Like I showed that tray at the beginning, it's got that texture in the bottom, and you could just set some paper on there and go over it with markers and just create a texture. You could do that with paint. You don't even need a texture, just lay out some paper. You got some pent up energy, take some markers, take some pencils, take some ink pads, whatever you got, and just line papers up. I mean, if you got something that don't even need to dry, like markers or ink pads, like in the sense that you don't really have to lay it out like paint and have to worry about it sticking to other stuff. Oh my gosh, you could do pages and just do a whole bunch of just junk on it and flip it over and do it and move on, flip it over and do it and move on. You can have so many just papers with just patterns and all kinds of stuff all over it, which I don't know, I think eventually I'm gonna have to do a video like that. Because y'all know, I've talked about before, when I was doing art, especially growing up and everything, I didn't have access to art stores and everything. So I used highlighters, whiteout pens. The only thing we had in my city was this, you know, just like I think a Dollar General. I used highlighters, whiteout pens, Sharpies, anything I could find in that little half aisle of like stationary school supplies to do stuff with. So I just want to put that out there. Art supplies are fun. Like I said, I got these are like the acrylic inks and the watercolors and stuff. I find those on really good clearance sometimes. And I've picked those up, although I'm trying to use them all up now. And you can have a ball with them, but you can also do it with markers. You can do it with pencils. You can do it like, you know, you can use, you don't have to buy fancy chipboard. This came in a in a box of cat food. You know, I ordered in that box. I got this cool cardboard here. I mean, I'm obsessed. I'm gonna be obsessed with this for a long time. Y'all know I like to get my hands on stuff and just rifle through things. You know, if you don't have magazines and stuff, you know, look around for junk mail, look around for advertising on your boxes and things. You know, they pay a lot of money for marketing on products. You got this kind of board on like cereal boxes, pasta boxes, you know, there's just all kinds of wonderful stuff out there, and you can just have a ball with it. You know, you can stick stickers in here. You can, don't want to do that. I mean, this would be just so fun to just journal on top of. Maybe you don't want to do personal journaling. Maybe you want to write little story prompts. Or maybe you don't even feel like doing that. Maybe you need to do something therapeutic and you just find like a sentence or a quote and you just write it over and over and over and over again in here, almost like a meditative thing. You know, there's just so much that you can use, you know, from very little. You know, keep those dyed paper towels. Now, some of them come out a little too crunchy and you can't use them, but some you can really have a ball with them. So, I don't know. It's kind of what this video turned into. I just wanted to show that, you know, even if you don't have access to fancy things, especially now when prices are crazy, you can still do it. And sometimes inspiration strikes in the weirdest place. You could open up your shipment of cat food and it could be separated by this wondrous corrugated piece of magic here, and you might just want to do something with it. So, you know, always keep your eye out for stuff. Don't get discouraged if you don't have a bunch of fancy supplies and stuff. You can just have fun with just all kinds of things, and if you're needing to build up your stash or things catch your eye, you can do tons with little scraps. I mean, these, I'm excited about these little doohickeys. I don't know what they're going to become. Maybe I can like collage some. I don't know, but I'm excited about it. So they'll be used when they're meant to be used. But anyway, that's my little video for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it's a little kind of all over the place because we started the video out, I think, as here's how I'm going to make a journal, and it turned into, oh my gosh, you got all this cool stuff at your fingertips that you can do stuff with, you know. But again, thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. What are some cool things that you've used in your art journaling or your crafting that are not craft supplies? Like, what's something you like to use, or what's something one time you saw and you were like, hey, I'm going to use that, and it just jumped out at you? I'm just curious. I think the first thing, or a couple first things I used that was just, now one I'll never use again, I used literal coffee grounds to make dirt on a page, which I think I shared that in my first journal I ever made. And then I would keep scraps of aluminum foil, and I would take a hole puncher and I'd hole punch a bunch of the, you know, little round dots, you know, just regular hole puncher, like a one hole punch. And I made little glitter all over stuff, you know, glitter. It was stars in my first art journal. And there's just all kinds of fun stuff out there. Clothing tags, like I said, junk mail envelopes. This one I was excited about with the 2 pockets. There's just all kinds of stuff out there. So it's, you know, look at what you have access to. you don't have a printer where you can buy these fancy printables for journals and stuff like that, make you some pages, you know. Don't have acrylic dyes, get you a Sharpie out, get you a marker out, you know, an old pencil, I mean, and just like run over it. I don't know, but I bet whatever it is you do will just be awesome. And you'll just have a ball at it. And the worst case, it ain't going to be perfect, because at the very least, you're going to have an experience with it. You're going to learn something, and it'll refocus you. So anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is a little bit different, but it just felt like a video that I wanted to make, and that's how it evolved. So thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all soon, probably with a session in one of these. I am ready to dive in here. Bye, guys.